Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shivani Dikshit from IMS Ghaziabad University Courses Campus. Today I am going to discuss one very important topic of microeconomics, elasticity of demand. And after this session, you would understand the concept of price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, and cross elasticity of demand along with its types. Basically, elasticity of demand is very important to know. But before understanding this concept, we should have an idea about what demand is, which usually talk about price and demand relationships that shows the quantity of a commodity which we buy at a certain price and at a certain point of time. Elasticity of demand shows the extent to the change in the quantity of a commodity to that price. Or we can say that it's a responsiveness of demand to the change in the price of the commodity, which is very essential to understand. There are three kinds of elasticity of demand. One is price, one is income, and another one is cross. Price elasticity of demand talks about the relationship between price and demand. Income elasticity of demand talks about the relationship between income and demand. And cross elasticity of demand talks about the relationship between price of one product and the demand of the another product. In case of price elasticity of demand, we usually understand how much change in the price and how much change in the demand is being happening in the market. So if someone wants to change the price of the product to 20%, then he must be aware of what would be the elasticity and what would be the change in the demand pattern. And in this concept, we can identify and calculate the price elasticity of demand by applying this formula, which talks about percentage change in the quantity demanded and percentage change in the price. There are several degrees of this elasticity. So usually these 5 degrees are perfectly elastic demand, which talks about when infinite quantities can be purchased at the same price. Second, talk about perfectly inelastic demand, wherein the change in the price does not bring about any change in the demand. Then we have relatively elastic demand, which talks about proportionate change in the demand is more than the proportionate change in the price. Relatively inelastic demand, which talks about change in the demand is less and the proportionate change in the price is greater. Like in case of necessary goods, there is a greater change in the prices, like in case of a petrol, if you talk about. Then we have another fifth category is unitary elastic, wherein the demand changes are exactly to the change in the price. These are the various graphical presentations of the same concepts. This graph A represents the similar proportionate change in the price and a same proportionate change in the demand. That's a unitary elastic case. Graph B represents a lesser change in the price and a greater change in the demand. C represents greater change in the price, and that's the case of the necessaries, and a lesser change in the demand. D represents when the price increases to any extent, there would be no change in the demand. And last one represent when the price remains same, but demand changes to any level. Then the another important kind of elasticity is income elasticity, wherein which denotes the responsiveness to change in the consumer's income with the change in the demand of a certain good. Like income elasticity can be a positive income elasticity or it can be a negative income elasticity, which usually we calculate with the help of this formula that shows percentage change in the demand by percentage change in the income of the consumer. These are the various types of income elasticity. The first one is positive income elasticity, which talks about demand for a commodity rises with a rise in the consumer's income. And that we see in case of normal goods. Whenever the income is there, we usually buy that. Second one is income elasticity, negative income elasticity, wherein the demand for a commodity decreases with a rise in income and increases with a fall in income, like in case of cheap products, inferior goods. Then the third category is zero income elasticity, where actually no relationship exists. So where there is a no impact on rising of the income on the demand of any product. So that is a case of zero income elasticity. Then the third kind is cross elasticity of demand. And it is an economic concept that measures the responsiveness in the quantity demanded of one good when there is a change in the price of the other good. So if we want to calculate and evaluate price and demand relationship of cross products, for that sake, we use cross elasticity of demand. Cross products talks about price of one product and the demand of the another product. And for the sake of calculating this, we use this formula which talks about percentage change in quantity demanded of X to the percentage change in the price of Y. So how they are being related? These are the two types of cross elasticity of demand. In the first case, like in case of a substitutes, cross price elasticity is positive because the demand for one good increases when the price for the substitute good increases. So they are directly related. In case of complementaries, price of one good increases, but in lieu of that, demand of another good decreases. So that way they are negatively related. While dealing with the unrelated goods, there is generally no relationship exists. So in that case, there is no cross elasticity of demand. Thank you so much.